Hello, gay men. Welcome to Coming Inside Out. I am John Duerler.
I'm Brian James.
And welcome, everyone.
Yes, welcome, listeners.
Yes, welcome, listeners. Welcome, citizens.
Yes. We're gaining momentum, John.
We are gaining.
More people are listening to our podcast.
We're excited about
Yes.
that. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. We're honored that you guys are listening.
Yeah.
Did
you have a good day today? How was your day?
My day, Are you priming me?
Yeah, I'm priming you a little bit. How's your day going?
I'm having a rough day. I'm having a rough time. I've shared this in the past. My younger son is getting ready to leave for the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's my younger son, and I know a lot of people have that experience of their child leaving home.
Yeah.
But my older son is still at home.
Sure.
COVID happened, and he didn't end up going away to college. So my younger son is the first one leaving the house.
Right.
But I think my biggest thing with this is, and it's been boiling for a couple of months, is, and I shared this with you, I think, and this may resonate with some of the listeners, I don't know, I think that if my wife had not divorced me, that I would never have come out of the closet.
And again, to remind the listeners and the new listeners, you didn't come out during your marriage.
No, I was monogamous my entire. My first male experience was at age 50.
Right.
So I was not.
And the first male experience that got you charged was Bobby Ewing on Dallas when he came out in a Speedo. Right.
Yes.
But
that's when I knew.
You touched on something here that you never would have come out if you would have stayed married. And she divorced. She was the one that wanted the divorce, right?
Yes. And I've shared this before. No. My ex-wife, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, was a much healthier person than I was during our marriage. She still may very well be, probably, but she initiated the divorce because she outgrew me. She was on a path to be a better person than I feel like I was during our marriage.
Right.
So I think that I was very comfortable in my marriage. I had all these voices and all this shit happening, and I've been very transparent that, I'm driving down the freeway screaming I'm gay at 47 years old, knowing, tormented. I'm not saying I was healthy.
This was while you were married, and you were
I was married.
On the way home, or
it's on my way to work, screaming I'm gay. So I knew that part of me was screaming to come out.
Yeah.
But I had been in that position, I think, a couple times before, and I'd always been able to calm it, quiet it down, and, move on for another period of time.
What was the reason why you didn't tell her? What kept that from you telling her?
Why didn't I tell my wife during our marriage that I was gay?
Yeah.
Or that would have ended our marriage.
And you didn't want to end this.
No, I thought I was so invested in my marriage. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to die being married to my wife.
Right.
I thought that was my existence. I didn't think it was my existence. That's who I was as a person. Mm-hmm. So,
because the reason I'm asking you this is there may be a listener in the same predicament.
Yes.
And so I think, and that's why we're doing this, is to give people hope, but maybe give advice, but just share our story and other people's stories so it can resonate with you and help you.
Yes.
And with your story, because ours are different, came out during the marriage, but you came out after the marriage.
After my divorce.
And the reason why you didn't tell her was because you just wanted to continue this marriage that you loved so much.
Yes, I loved being a family man. I loved having my family dynamic. I loved being with my family.
Right, and that's what I think scares a lot of men not to say anything or do anything, because they think it's the unknown that we're scared of. It's the unknown of like what's going to happen or how are they going to react or what's going to happen here. And it is scary. It is so scary. But being on the other side of it now for you and of course for me, um, it's so freeing. It's so freeing with my sons because they know everything. They know it all. And it's just nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice. And then, here's a quick. We were at the basketball game this past weekend, and I was talking to one of the mothers because look, when you go to soccer games or football games, half of the parents are divorced, if not 60%. And with the heteros, it's different if if a man divorces his wife and then he marries another woman or he dates another woman and then the ex-wife dates another man, there's no gayness there, right? What I'm sensing is there's definitely threats. I don't think there's a big major threat when since I'm a gay man and I was married to a woman and now we go to these games separately. We don't we get along, and we're not playing our kids against each other. And so I guess my point is, I'm there and I'm talking to one of the mothers, and we were just talking, and she had gone out, and she goes, "Oh my God, we went out to the Abbey." Yes. Well, no, this is a different one. Okay, this is a different one. And I go, "Oh my God, yeah, you did." I go, "Yeah," and I go, "Well, I have a funny story about the Abbey." She goes, "You do? What about?" She goes, "Have you ever been to the Abbey, John?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I was there last year at my coming out party." She said, "What?"
You told our listeners this one.
I did
2 episodes ago.
Oh shit!
I listen. I don't want to.
No, this is a different one. I just told somebody else.
No, this one was on 2 episodes ago. It was, but that's okay. But maybe 2 separate basketball moms told you're coming out.
Well, I just told this one this is a different one.
Okay,
this is a different one.
This is 2. All right, I apologize for interrupting.
No. That's okay. But no, this was this happened Sunday.
All right,
this was 3 days ago.
This happened to you 2 weeks ago too.
It did. Yes, it did. No, I know what that was. Right. Thank you. Yes, because she went to the the Abbey, and I know that story. Okay. You're right.
And I apologize.
No. This it's so interesting. You're right because she, all these women go to the Abbey.
Yeah, of course, but
a lot of them do.
A lot of women go to the Abbey.
They're actually
think it's a safe place to go.
But those 2 women were friends too. Yeah. I didn't put that together.
They've been there together.
They may have, but anyway. So she's like, "Wait, what? You're gay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my God, I never would have guessed it." And I said, I go, "Well, thank you, or whatever, thank you or not thank you." But I guess the point is and was that it just came natural to me.
Yeah.
And and that's the whole point I'm trying to come back to the circle here, is that if you feel that you're scared, guys, it's going to get better. It will get better. I promise you. You just have to make that first step, and then the other steps will come.
Right. You're promising them that it will get better. I'm promising you that it will get different.
And let me. It'll get different. And what gets different?
Your life is. Listen.
Well, of course, your life is different.
The joys that come along with coming out, but for some of us, there's a tremendous amount of heartache and loss. And I don't want someone to say, "Listen, I listened to your podcast, and now I'm not going to come out because I don't want the heartache and loss." There's heartache and loss, but there's joy. Part of what I was sharing with you earlier was that part of like this whole upset with my son leaving is I feel like I lost my entire life when we divorced. When my divorce happened, I lost my wife. I lost my best friend. I
lost an identity.
Yeah, I lost waking up to my kids in the same house every day.
No, I lost totally lost all of
everything. And I haven't recovered from that loss yet. July 30th would have been my wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So I lost so much, and now here my son is leaving home, and it just further puts me into this state of feeling loss in my life. And I haven't really replaced it with anything. I have new friends. I have new things I'm doing. I'm out as gay. I'm doing this podcast, but I haven't, and I'm not looking to replace my life. Because I don't want to replace it. I want to rebuild it bigger, better, and different. But I have such a massive void in my life because I invested so much of my life in being a family man and living that life.
Well, I think regardless if you're gay, straight, in a marriage, it's still in a marriage, you're going through what a lot of adults, all of us will be going through or have gone through, is your child growing to become an adult, and they leave the nest. Even if you have two nests, and as opposed to one.
Yes.
But I totally get what you're talking about, like when you wanted to stay married, because listen, that when you get up in the morning and if you're getting coffee or you're making breakfast, the kids come in and it's all there, and then, oh my God, that is going to end.
Yes.
When I move out of the house.
Yes.
And it is hard. It is absolutely hard. But then it does work. It starts to work. This is my therapist who's going to be coming on.
Well, she was
talking about it.
5 years. I'm at my 5-year point about now since I moved out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I still get triggers. I still have things that, trauma. My very first outing, once I came out as gay, I went to a gay fathers event down in Hermosa Beach. I drove down there. I was anxious. I was nervous. I was coming out. I was meeting this group of men, and I misread the parking sign, and I parked my car where I wasn't supposed to park it, and my car got towed. So I'm an hour and change from home. I come outside, my car's gone. If I was married, my very first thought would be, I'm going to call my wife, and the two of us are going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Here I am, all this way away from home. My car's been towed, and inside, I panicked. I was like, who the hell am I going to call? I felt so helpless. I'm a grown man. I felt so helpless with my car getting towed. So, and then fast forward a couple months, I'm doing something with my insurance. I go to the doctor and they hand me the clipboard and it's okay. Who's your emergency contact?
Right.
Well, I could put my ex-wife as my emergency contact. She and I are, we're not adversaries. We still get along. We co-parent. I could put her as my emergency contact. She would absolutely show up. I could have called her when my car got towed, but I didn't. And I was at the hospital or the doctor's office with this clipboard, and it's like, I don't have an emergency contact anymore.
Oh.
I don't have somebody to lean on.
Right.
I lost that. I had that 30 years in my life. That no longer exists.
That is hard.
And it causes me a lot of heartache.
You don't have family here.
I have a lot of family. I'm not estranged from my family, but I don't hang out with my family.
Right. Listen, and that's the other thing too.
Your family's in Texas. I mean,
yeah, they're in Texas. But I remember, and this is interesting. I remember when I was 20 years old, I was just hanging out with some friends that were married, and one of their friends was gay, right? And he had left. We had a dinner party, and he was by himself. And the husband said, the gay lifestyle can be a lonely, lonely world.
I believe it.
And Yeah, well, yeah.
That's what I'm finding too, by the way.
Well, but but it's interesting, and I know. I mean, I think whatever you are, it can be a lonely world for anyone. Going through a divorce or being by themselves and having to do that. But you're getting yourself out there, and
I'm trying. I'm spending time with gay fathers.
Yeah.
I'm not. I printed something which we can share when we move along. But I haven't gone through my whore phase. I don't think I have a whore phase in me.
Right.
I have really spent the last 5 years working on myself. My wife left me for all these things that I was not willing to look at and work on, and I kind of spent the last 5 years reading most of the books she recommended to me, learning how to meditate, learning how to do breath work, learning how to, take better emotional and spiritual care of myself.
Well,
So that's
I
what
think you have. I think you got a good foundation now. I've known you for how long has it been?
Yeah.
2 years?
No, well, probably 3 years. At least, I would say 3 years. It just. But now I feel like I'm at a healthier place in my life, and I don't want to involve myself in an unhealthy, dysfunctional relationship, which eliminates 90% of the community for me right off the top.
Well, listen, we're all older now. We know what we like and we know what we don't like, and it's a little
not
more
willing to settle.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely you need to know who you're dating, what's going on. I mean, there's so many scammers, and I know we talked about that. You got to be careful. You just have to be careful out there. Yeah. I had a friend of mine. Anybody he'd date, he had a private investigator run all their information.
Oh, did well? Then, you know what? In this day and age, that's pretty smart.
Well, you have to. Yeah, you don't know.
Should we read a couple of the emails from?
Go ahead.
Well, you know what? Okay. Well, here's the one. We kind of did our intro a little bit. This is one of our YouTube listeners.
I love this YouTube listener. Gay fathers, gay dads, gay men.
All right. Well, and that's our title. That's what he wrote.
I told you I need my glasses. That's so funny. All right. So, hello, gay men. This should be the intro. Just 21 seconds today.
Oh, that's because I did the teaser. But
I know. But that's what he said. Hello, gay men. He liked that.
A couple episodes ago, you said hello, gay men, and then we said not amen, gay men. So I think we've kind of redone that. And then somebody sent in this colorful response to the podcast. This is more in response to Elon Musk's daughter and what's swirling around the media right now with his transgender daughter and him not supporting transgender rights. I don't agree with what they wrote, but I thought the artwork was pretty colorful. Did you want me to read? No, I don't think we should read that. I don't think it didn't make a whole bunch of sense to me, and I'm not looking to discount what they wrote, but I don't know what it was. So, I thought we could lighten the mood up a little bit with the Olympics.
Goodness. Let's talk about those swimsuits.
My goodness. And the gymnasts.
Trunks.
And the rugby players.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Well, I went online. I thought it was pretty interesting that it's an approximate number because not everybody's out, but approximately 144 of the athletes are LGBTQ plus. And that, during the...
Are you talking about the U.S. athletes or all?
I don't know. It just says 144 LGBTQ.
How many are...
9,000.
There's 9,000 athletes there?
Well, so there's 9,000 athletes. Each of the athletes were given a cardboard bed. But the interesting part to that, and I printed that, is that the cardboard bed is designed to hold 550 pounds, which is the weight of 2 adults.
There's a lot.
Yes.
Listen, there's a lot of fucking going on.
3 of them.
There's a lot of fucking going on in that.
And they're handing out 30,000 condoms.
No, it's 300,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, 300,000 condoms, 2 per day per athlete. There's a lot of fucking going on.
There's a lot of fucking.
Oh my God.
You know, they train and they train and they train, and maybe they're not fucking during training.
I don't
They
know.
get there and you're in Paris, and
Yeah, well, you're in
how exciting though. How exciting that would be, you know, to go to that as an athlete.
Oh. Well, I saw a YouTube post, which, you know, there's a lot of controversy over the opening ceremony, and they think that they were mocking Christianity by having the trans community do the like a parody on the
Last
Supper.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the posts was this depiction of the Last Supper isn't what's making your kids gay. And below it, it was 3 photos of 3 of the hottest male athletes at the Olympics, and it says, "This is what's making your kids gay." Yeah. I remember being a kid and watching and being so excited inside watching, and also feeling guilty and like half watching the TV, then half pretending to be doing something else, because I knew that I shouldn't be looking at the athletes the way that I was.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember Greg Louganis?
Yes.
When he,
that was in the 80s?
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember when he hit his head.
Yeah, yeah.
When AIDS was happening.
He looked good.
Yeah, he did. Well, today, these athletes, these athletes are
incredible. It's just crazy. Yeah. But what's fun? Well, guess what? We're going to have it in 4 years here.
In Utah.
No, 28 is going to be in LA.
What did Utah just...
It's going to be
winter. They're doing the winter.
I'm talking about summer, which is going to be 2028 here in LA. And they're... it's going to be exciting here.
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying watching the Olympics, and they're enjoying being there with their 300,000.
They look so sharp. The Americans look so sharp in their Ralph Lauren jackets, those blue jackets. I want one of those. I'd wear it. You could
probably buy one online.
You think?
Absolutely.
I think you have to be an athlete. Well, I am an athlete.
Yeah,
I was.
I'll buy the Speedos, buy the jacket.
I'll buy the husky jacket. Well, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, I guess they have to have it.
A wrestler.
Right? A wrestler. Or,
what is that called? A singlet? What is that outfit called that they wear?
Oh, that?
What is that?
I don't know.
That's called. All right. Well, this is, I printed this off of Psychology Today because this is Married, Gay, and Coming Out.
What?
I thought this was pretty relevant.
Who is this guy? Lauren Olson?
Yeah.
Olson.
Talks about leaving marriage and
leaving a marriage to begin a new gay life is like a second adolescence.
Yes. And these are the 4 stages.
Do you want me to read them?
Yeah, well, I think they resonate with a lot of people. They resonated with me.
So, again, this article, leaving a marriage to begin a new gay life is like a second adolescence. Men and women who consider coming out as gay while in a heterosexual marriage often think about, and many have attempted, suicide.
100%.
Okay.
I resonate with that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wow. Second, after leaving their marriage, they often experience a period of hypersexuality, but they lack information and experience to make good decisions.
I didn't go through the hypersexuality, but I do lack information and experience.
I'm still in it.
Some people never leave it.
I don't
they love it.
No, I mean, it's
there's no shame in it.
No, I love it. Great. Those who leave heterosexual marriages to come out as gay are relationship oriented, and they often find casual sex unsatisfying.
That's
me.
You. That's me.
That's you.
It's me.
You're the one.
Core. Yeah. So you're 2. I'm 3.
You're 2.
I'm 1. I'm 1 and 3.
Okay. I'm 2. Let's see what 4 is. After coming out as gay, they must seek a partner who will accept their need to split priorities between a new relationship and their children. Well, shit, that's any relationship.
Absolutely. I don't think so. I think a lot of people abandon their family. They abandon their life.
You know what?
They move on to something new.
This was my mom.
Oh, there you go.
So when my mom married my stepdad, they were dating when I was 11 and 12. My mom let me do what the hell I wanted. I went out at night because she had her second marriage, which, I mean.
And she chose him over
children. Well, she chose him, and that was her second, she chose him over the children. Huh?
How old was she when she went through this? In her 30s? 40s?
Yeah. She's 30 years older than me. When I was 13, so she was 43.
Okay.
So they go to Lady Longlegs. Lady Longlegs was this redneck country hick bar, and they had dancing and everything. And I remember her and my stepdad came home drunk one night, and I had a buddy of mine from track and field. We were doing a track meet. We were going the next day to it. Or no, we had it, and he came home and spent the night at my house. Nothing went on.
All right.
But I know you're sitting there licking your lips to know if something happened with me.
Circle jerk to bust out.
No, he was never in the circle jerk. But my mom came home and she was fucked up. I mean, she got so drunk, and she was in the bathroom throwing up, and
she was living her best life.
Well, she was, and that the kid, because we were like in 6th or 7th grade, and he was like, "Hey man, is your mom okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's fine. She just went to Lady Longlegs and got wasted." But you know what? I was happy for my mom because she was finally got somebody that loved her. And Big Huey, that was his name.
Yes, you told me about Big Huey.
Big Huey loved my mother so much. He really, really loved her. And I may have told you this too. Every morning he would make coffee, and he would sit and wait for my mom to wake up and have his first cup of coffee with my mom.
All right, see, that's what I want in my next relationship.
I would love to have that too. I would love to have that, and we will have it. We will. But I get what you're talking about, going back to you not telling your wife because you didn't want to shake it up. You didn't want to change anything because you loved having that cup of coffee, and you loved having someone to put on the emergency list, and you loved having someone to come and get you when you dumbass parked in the wrong parking spot. And
yes, but it was the love also. There was a lot of tenderness, and yes,
it's the companionship. It's the companionship, and it's and I think I avoid that too. I think I avoid it like this. Well, I'll give this guy a call though. This one guy, he's checking me out, and I'd like to see where it would go.
Dating or just
dating?
This hypersexual activity.
No, nothing's happened yet.
All right.
He's a sweet guy too.
All right.
We'll see. I'll let you know.
Have you dated anybody?
Yeah.
Have you? Okay. And what you talk to some of these guys that have been gay for 30, 40 years. What's your longest relationship? 18 months.
Yeah, mine was a couple of months.
Well, but you haven't been out that long.
Right. But mine's a couple months. But it's interesting you touch on something. When I acted out and when I'm having sex with men in the beginning, it was just transactional. Nothing meaning money, but it was transactional of, getting off and moving on.
Yeah.
And there was no intimacy.
Well, you didn't want it because you came home to your wife. You couldn't.
Yeah. Well, but at that time we weren't intimate as well. And look, intimate doesn't just mean having sex. Intimate is holding hands, caressing, and holding.
Yes.
That's a part of it.
That my wife used to read in bed while I was falling asleep, and she would scratch my back at night as I was falling asleep.
And that's so sweet. And it's a touch.
Connection.
And so I love that. I miss that. And I know you do too.
My body misses it as much as I do, because I think our bodies get used to having the physical touch. Our bodies get used to the proximity to one another.
So
it's not just my mind missing it. There's a lot of components.
But the point that I was trying to, what the point I want to make here is that in the beginning, when I was having sex with men, it was just the get off and move on. And it wasn't, I want to stay and hold you, or none of that, or even holding hands. Kind of just, it's interesting, you know. You can suck my dick or I'll suck your dick, but I don't want to hold your hand.
Well, let me ask you, could you have had that same sex with a woman cheating on your wife, or you could have only done that with a man? Or you only wanted to do it with a man? Or could you have,
you mean
the opportunity,
the transactional, not
the transaction of just having sex?
Well, I knew that I wouldn't have done it with a woman.
Okay, you would not have cheated on your wife with a woman.
No.
Okay.
No, because that was me finally coming inside out, if you will. Yes. No, seriously. That is me coming inside out because I was realizing that, you know, because at first we thought, oh, am I bisexual? You know, and again, therapy and all of that. I just didn't have that interest of being with a woman, which I had been with many women for many years. But at this point, it was like just an about face. However, it wasn't being intimate with a man, and that has been something for me that I have been growing into. That I can be intimate or hold a hand or be affectionate.
Yeah, well, some men don't like to kiss other men. It's too intimate for them. They want to just
there was never
have the sex.
That. It was never
and never kiss.
Yeah.
I don't want to have sex with a man that I don't kiss. I don't want to have. I don't want to have.
But I think our listeners, there's the gamut. There's probably some that identify with me, identify with you, and there's that pendulum of where it is. And I guess I'm just sharing my story of that. I have grown to where I can be, you know, intimate in a way of holding hands or kissing.
Yes,
where I would not have been that way years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to take a couple minutes. I want to bring up something you brought up 2 episodes ago. And that is, you had brought up something and I joked about it, not knowing exactly what you were talking about. You were saying that when you're getting ready to come out, that you should be making a plan. And I jokingly said making a plan about what you're going to do sexually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and positions and all that stuff. But you had said, kind of touched base on some of the things. A lot of our listeners think that they are doing this secretively and they're not going to be caught, and that they're going to continue having these relationships with men on the side and no one's going to know, and they don't make a plan. So the people that are planning to come out, or, you know, have gotten to a point in their life where, like, okay, I'm going to be the one to initiate the end of the marriage. I'm going to be the one to initiate coming out to my wife. Yes, obviously those people should have a plan. But touch on that a little bit. I mean, were you making a plan?
No,
Did you have a plan?
See, great question. You know, here I am preaching that have a plan. That comes from me not having a plan. That's what that comes from.
But you weren't planning.
But I didn't have any
for any of this to happen.
I wasn't listening to a podcast. I didn't have the education, or at least to identify with somebody that was in my position. So no, I hope I didn't mislead anybody by saying that. I say that now. Excuse me, I just knocked over my glass of water. I say that now because looking back, and any listener, that, you know, you just set a plan or a goal of what you want. Like in business, I have my business plans and I have my personal goal plans. But I think maybe having a plan of coming out or what you want to do, it's kind of something you can follow and have a goal for. Just like this gentleman that talked to you and came out, maybe he didn't have a plan, but guess what? That's part of a plan, a subconscious plan.
He stumbled across our podcast.
Yeah.
Which may have hopefully started a plan for him, because he said he was in the process of wanting to start his coming out.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned that, and I made light of it, but I went back and
would you agree with it?
Well, I listened to the podcast, and I'm like, holy smokes, I got what you were saying.
Yeah.
And absolutely, I mean, there are people that put this in motion. There are men that put this in motion, and women. If you're a gay woman in a marriage, we don't discriminate here, and you plan, yes. But for those that you came home, and 45 minutes later, your life was changed in a conversation. Right. You had no plan. No plan. No. So I think if you were one of these men that are out there cheating, thinking you're never going to get caught, you maybe should start thinking about, if this happens, what am I going to do? Because you don't want to be hung out to dry. Yeah. And we're finding out that there's a lot of men out there that get caught, because we said early on, but men are stupid.
Well, we are, but but that was the whole thing. And again, I'm not trying to push anybody to come out whenever you feel like it. But again, let me underscore, I didn't come out to her. She was the one that threw it up in the air.
Yes. But you could have denied it. Oh no, of course not.
Well, true. I could. You're right. And
deflected and flipped it on her and made it.
You know what? I could have. I could definitely have done that. But at the end of the day, it was her that opened that opportunity. And it was, and if we were in an argument and we haven't been, in the same bed because we were just fighting. Take the sexuality out of it. We just weren't getting along. And I'm sure this had a lot to do with it, but there's also other factors into marriage. And, that's what she said. She goes, what are you, I mean, we haven't, what are you, gay? And it was more of a kind of an insult, I think. Or not. I don't know. Maybe she had an inkling. I don't know.
And do you think that she had possibly already stumbled upon an email of yours? Do you think she possibly had already uncovered something and she was testing you with it?
Maybe she was, because, she...
How hard is John going to hold on?
Yeah. Well,
let's
right.
test it
no,
right now.
Maybe, yeah. But she would never tell me.
Yeah, all right. Today she would never tell you?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
But it's interesting. Maybe she did, or maybe, it's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Well, I'll share with you. Years ago, my younger son was in baseball, and he wanted a new bat. He was in a baseball team. He wanted a new bat, and I was like, okay. He had talked about it. I talked to my wife about it. We were going to buy him a new bat. I went on my iPad and I very quickly typed in Dick's
Sporting Good.
Dick's to type in Dick's Sporting Goods, but I typed in Dick's, and there what came up was something that I was not anticipating coming up, because I was looking for Dick's Sporting Goods.
Was she there with you?
No. I was there, I type in Dick's, and the first thing that comes up is something like Big Black Dicks or this or that or whatever. And I sat there for a minute and I hesitated, because I didn't look at porn on our stuff at home. And I looked at that for a couple seconds and I was like, oh. And I clicked on it.
Oh.
And when I clicked on it, all of a sudden, like 20 different porn pages started popping up all over the, and they just started firing. I was like, oh my God, click, 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 click. And I turned everything off, and I just turned my iPad off and I put it on my nightstand, and that was it. I was like, holy shit, that was a mistake. Later that night, she grabs my iPad off of my nightstand because she wants to look at something. And she powers my iPad on and she clicks on the Safari, and the very first thing that comes up is gay porn.
Oh my!
And I was in the bathroom getting ready for bed, and she comes in. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" And in that moment, I could have told her I'm gay, and I held on tight. And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And it was the truth. I was like, "Oh my god, this is what happened." I clicked on it for Dick's Sporting Goods, and Dick's came up, and blah 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 blah. And I explained the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And we never talked about it again. I don't know if she even remembers that since
she remembers that
me coming out.
Oh,
but, that was an opportunity for me, probably in my mid 40s, to have come out as gay.
Wow! So you had that opportunity.
Oh,
you chose not to do it, and you were shopping for bats. Well, I'm sure you found
legitimately, I was shopping for bats. Legitimately, we shopping for a bat, but that opportunity presented itself. I could have changed my life that many years ago.
Yeah,
but I held on to nope.
Let me ask you something. When you saw the dick, did you have a huge dopamine rush in your brain? Not just in your growing
that night when she
hard, but
showed it to me, or when I clicked on it.
When you clicked and you saw it, it was like, does it? It was like, oh, this is. I mean, did it get you charged?
It did not, because I think I actually, the very first thing that I clicked on was like a spam link, because it didn't take me to a gay porn site.
Yeah.
It actually populated like 30, like the screen just kept flashing, and it was like porn this, porn this, porn this, porn this. And I panicked, and I thought I didn't clear the history, and I turned it off. But all right. Well, that's my story. And
that's a good story, and I think this is the good ending.
Yes, it is
for our podcast.
I agree.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
and thank you, Brian.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you all for listening to us. And please just make it a great day or evening. And thank you again. And we'd love to hear from you. And we're at cominginsideout@gmail.com.
Yes.
And if you want to send us an email, we'd love to hear from you. And
until next week.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.